Two, three. Hello, how are you? My name is Lolley. I'm a worship leader out of Newcastle, Delaware. I've been leading worship since '94. It is near and dear to my heart. I've dedicated my life to a life of worship, prayer, and intercession, and I believe that you have to dedicate your life. If you're going to be a worship leader, you definitely have to dedicate your life. I usually tell my interns that you cannot be publicly what you are not privately. So that begins with a life of intercession, a life of prayer at home, a life of worship. I often lead worship sets at home, during the course of the week, and I just begin to go into the throne room and begin to sing the word to God, His word back to Him. I'm skilled in worship. I've led worship. I've been senior worship leader, and I've been on a team of worship leaders. I play the piano is my dominant instrument. I'm also skilled in the drums, producing, songwriting, engineering. I produce several worship CDs with national worship artists as well as local worship artists. My life is a life filled with passion. I take worship very seriously. If I could sum it up with a scripture, the scripture would be Isaiah 61. When it says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to preach the good news and set the captives free, for this is the acceptable year of the Lord." I believe that this is the year of the Lord, and I believe that He's calling not for a perfect people, but I believe that He's calling for an available people, people that will stand before Him as a holy God and sing out of holiness and minister out of holiness to a congregation of people that need to hear the word of Jesus Christ. It's always a pleasure to partner with any ministry. It's always a pleasure to be a part of a ministry where things are growing and things are happening. And I pray that you will find what you're looking for. I pray if I could be any assistance, do not hesitate to call me. And that's pretty much it. I would love to talk to you guys in person, but definitely worship is my passion. A little quick story about me. I've been leading worship and just pretty much doing it, not trying to, I didn't want to be a worship leader. Didn't want to really be in the front. I was always content with being a background musician. And a mutual friend called me a couple years ago. He said, there's a church that needs a worship leader to help out. There had been a nationally known worship leader that was their worship leader, and he began to travel, which permitted him from being there full time. So they called me and said, sure, I would love to come. Help out. No problem at all. I went. It was a great time. I mean, the Lord moved. We worshiped, and went back home. And I was happy. I was content with that because I'm a servant. They called me back again and said, would you like to come back again and help out? And till we find someone that can take the job. I said, sure, no problem at all. Went back, and I ministered again, and God began to move even in that in a greater magnitude. By the third time, the church offered me a job on the spot. I totally didn't think I was qualified for it. I totally didn't think I was accepting of it. But that's what God does. He qualifies those who aren't qualified. He gives us what we don't deserve. And I believe that my life is yielded to Jesus, 100%. Is yielded to Jesus. The knowledge of Jesus is endless. There's an endless ocean of knowledge of Jesus and digging into the depths of who He is. So, I end up being the worship leader of that congregation for about 2 years, and God really did some things in me. I learned a lot about a worship leader behind the scenes, because if you see a worship leader, of course they're doing the music and they're leading songs, but there's also a behind the scenes. So I actually learned how to, orchestrate it. I learned how to delegate and put teams together. I learned how to mentor the worship leaders that were under me. I learned how to even solve problems between the teams and to meet with them one-on-one, and the organizational skills as far as the emails and sending out the MP3s, all the things that goes behind the scenes that people don't think about in worship. And I began to learn that, and the more I learned that behind the scenes of worship, it was more important to have a passion for it. And God began to just use me even behind the scenes. And I found out that I was having more fun even behind the scenes preparing for the worship as I was actually singing and leading worship. So I pray that you guys will find everything you're looking for. I pray that this was a help to you. God bless you. My name is O'Shea Lolley. Thank you.